rain fell like whispers against the marble steps of the Roman palace. The city was restless, breathing under the weight of war and disease. Inside his chamber, a man sat alone, not as an emperor, but as a soul confronting his own suffering. His name was Marcus Aurelius. To the world, he was a ruler. To himself, he was a student of reason, of virtue, and of the art of mastering pain. He had seen the empire tremble, plague sweeping through its streets, soldiers dying far from home, betrayal festering in the Senate. And yet he did not curse fate. He looked into the storm and asked only one question: what is within my control? The world outside may collapse, but the mind remains his kingdom. There is a quiet moment recorded by history when Marcus sits at his desk, candlelight flickering against parchment. He writes not for others, but for himself, reminders to hold steady amid the chaos. His body aches from illness, his eyes are weary, his heart heavy with grief over the loss of his children. But he writes, and in his words, he transforms pain into philosophy. He writes, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Those words were not a declaration of pride. They were a lifeline, a whisper to his own heart that even when the world feels unbearable, there is still something you can master: your response. Imagine that scene. A man burdened by empire, facing an ocean of uncertainty, sitting in silence, teaching himself not how to escape pain, but how to meet it. That is the essence of Stoicism. The courage to stand still while life trembles around you. There was nothing easy about his life. The Antonine Plague, one of the deadliest in ancient history, tore through Rome. Thousands perished every week. The empire smelled of smoke and sorrow. People looked to their emperor for answers, for miracles. But Marcus knew that no man commands fate. He did not seek to control what could not be controlled. Instead, he turned inward, searching for virtue, justice, courage, temperance, wisdom, the four pillars that hold a Stoic heart upright. Each morning he began his day reminding himself of what he would face: selfishness, deceit, arrogance. Yet he prepared his mind not to be surprised, not to be broken. He accepted that people act according to their understanding, just as nature unfolds according to its laws. What happens, happens for a reason, even if that reason remains unseen. His Stoic teacher Epictetus had once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Marcus carried those words like a compass. Pain, he understood, was not an enemy, but a teacher. Sharp, demanding, honest. It stripped away illusion and revealed the soul's true strength. When his army suffered defeat, he did not lash out in anger. He reflected. When his closest allies betrayed him, he did not drown in bitterness. He forgave. When disease struck his own family, he did not despair. He accepted. Each trial was a reminder that life's essence is change, and to fight change is to fight nature itself. Still, there were nights when even the philosopher king was haunted. He would gaze out into the darkness beyond his camp, the flicker of torches casting restless shadows. In that stillness, he would ask himself, "What is the purpose of my suffering?" And the answer came quietly: "To practice what I believe." You see, philosophy is not meant to decorate the mind with clever ideas. It is a discipline of the soul. And for Marcus Aurelius, every hardship was a chance to live his philosophy, to embody wisdom, to remain kind amid cruelty, calm amid confusion, and patient amid pain. When his generals brought news of rebellion, he did not rage. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and remembered, the universe unfolds as it must. The Stoic does not seek comfort in denial. He finds peace in understanding. He knows that suffering cannot be avoided, but it can be mastered. He knew pain as a companion, not an intruder. It visited him in the loneliness of power, in the deaths of his children, in the slow decay of his health. Yet through it all, he practiced restraint. He reminded himself that life is not measured by comfort, but by character. And character is forged in the furnace of struggle. There is a powerful silence in those who have accepted pain. They no longer argue with fate. They no longer demand that the world be different. They walk through the fire, not because they do not feel the burn, but because they have learned to see beyond it. Marcus understood that to live is to suffer, but to suffer well is to live wisely. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The Stoic transforms obstacles into opportunities. Each wound becomes a lesson, each loss a teacher, each disappointment a mirror reflecting the truth of impermanence. He believed that pain purifies the soul. It reminds us that everything external, wealth, reputation, pleasure, is fragile. The only true possession is the mind. And within that mind, the Stoic builds a fortress of reason, guarded by acceptance and humility. Centuries later, his words still echo because they speak to something timeless within us. We too face our own wars, invisible, internal, anxiety, loss, failure, the collapse of dreams we thought were certain. Like Marcus, we too are asked by life, will you let this break you or will you learn from it? In our modern world, we often try to escape pain through distraction, consumption, denial. But Stoicism invites us to do something different, to sit with pain, to understand it, to learn from it. When you stop running, you begin to grow. When you face discomfort with courage, it transforms you. The Stoic does not numb himself. He feels deeply, but wisely. He acknowledges the sting of suffering without becoming its prisoner. He knows that every emotion, no matter how painful, is part of the human experience, fleeting yet meaningful. If Marcus Aurelius were alive today, sitting among us, perhaps he would smile and remind us gently, "You have already survived so much. The storms of yesterday did not destroy you. They shaped you. Pain is not your enemy. It is your sculptor." So the next time life tests you, when you lose something precious, when you are misunderstood, when your plans collapse, remember the emperor who sat alone in the candlelight, writing to himself words that would echo through time. He did not escape pain. He mastered it, not by force, but by understanding, not by control, but by acceptance. Take a deep breath. Feel your heart beating. This too is part of nature's design. You are not broken. You are becoming. Each challenge you face refines your soul, polishes your patience, and deepens your strength. The Stoics teach us that peace is not the absence of pain. It is the presence of wisdom amid pain. When you embrace that truth, suffering loses its power to define you. You stand firm, unshaken, calm as a mountain in the storm. Marcus Aurelius died quietly, far from Rome, surrounded by soldiers who revered him not only as an emperor but as a man of virtue. He left behind no grand monuments, no lavish tombs, only words. Words that whisper across centuries. Endure, accept, be kind, and remember, everything that happens, happens for your growth. Pain will come, but if you face it with courage, it will pass through you and leave behind clarity. You will see the world not as cruel, but as necessary, a training ground for the soul. And when you finally understand that truth, when you stop resisting the inevitable, you become free. Free not because life is easy, but because you have learned how to live well within it. A Stoic does not escape pain, he masters it. Thank you for watching Stillness and Steel. If this story touched your heart, like the video, share it with someone who needs calm in their chaos, and subscribe for more Stoic stories. Until next time, walk wisely and stay still within the storm.